Yo, 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 what is up? What's going on? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another show. Yes, sir. What a volume at? Give me some volume. Give me some volume. How's everybody doing today, man? Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully everybody had a good Halloween. That is not a holiday, but a Halloween. Hopefully you went trick-or-treating, got some candy. And if you did, hopefully you just stay safe out the way and practice not celebrating the old pagan holiday. That's right. Bruh. Don't be out here celebrating no pagan holiday, but it's candy involved, so you know I did. Damn, I gave myself a cavity problem. I sure did. Been raiding my son's candy. Right now I'm eating a mint, so it's not out of his bag, but had a great time. We had a good time. Dressed up as your boy Jason up in this joint. Yes, sir. Jason with the machete. Had the big old long knife machete and everything, bro. I was in full effect for sure. It was Jason and Charizard. Do they go together? I'll tell you what, they sure did that day. But man, hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully you're having a good Monday. And if you're not having a good Monday and it's rent day, hopefully Mr. Child can break it down to you.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
And as long as you did not lose your life and you are still here, you still can get up and grind and make something happen. Even if it's hard, even if it's tough, even if it's feel like there's no positive or no end in sight, you gotta make it happen, Captain. So do it. Just do it. Just do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. It's crunch time. These people ain't playing. They coming in with that digital ID. They trying to enslave everybody. So you might as well just stay focused and put your head down. Like I tell you, 5-10 years, grind your ass off because we gotta make something happen. Because if not, it's gonna be a wrap. Bruh. Yeah, government gonna have us by the balls and they gonna look at you like, hey, look here.
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers, you know?
That's what's gonna happen. Once they get a hold of you, once they get you in their grass, boy, they gonna be like, ha, 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 ha.
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers, you know?
And that's gonna be it. It's gonna be over. Ain't nothing you can do. So you gotta fight. You gotta grind to get out of it. But with that being said, we're simultaneously streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. If you're on YouTube and you see that thumbs up button, is gonna hit you right there on the screen. Do me a favor. Do me a favor and hit that like button. It'd be greatly appreciated to get the algorithm out and all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, or Rumble, hit your boy with a follow, or subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I greatly appreciate it. Want to contribute to today's show? Cash App, Venmo. Cash App is Daniel2888. Venmo is Danny-Daniel-00. And with that being said, we're going to get into today's show. We got our 3 topics: fitness, economy, and AI. For fitness, we going to go over the muscle of the day, which I forgot what the muscle of the day is. Let me figure it out real quick. What is the muscle of the day? The multifidus muscle. We're going to go over that. And of course, we're going to look at some lovely ladies exercising their body to get a good look at these muscles and how to work those out. Women want to be seen. We're going to look. And we're going to check that out for sure in the most mature way possible. It's the only way I could say it without, sounding crazy. Yeah, there's that. Bruh. Anyway, then we're going to go to the economy section of the show. There's a lot of stuff happening in the economy. You got this going, you got that going. You got Donald Trump talking about Nigeria and the Christians are getting unalived in Nigeria and stuff. But we got this nice Nigerian sister that's going to go ahead and do a good breakdown on what she think is really going on, and she got some really good points that she's gonna put out here. She's gonna call it out and let you know if it's real or if it's fake. So we're gonna check it out to see, because Trump out here saying that the Nigerians are getting unalived and Christians are getting unalived in Nigeria and stuff like that, which I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't dove that deep into it. But then you have a sister who comes in and breaks down some stuff, and when I listened to what she said, I was like, it makes a lot of sense. So we're going to have to go ahead and see what she got to say for sure. Then we get to the last segment of the show. We're going to talk about the digital ID on the AI segment of the show, because the digital ID going to have AI written all over it. Boy, it's going, let me tell you, that digital ID, they coming. They coming. They trying to put everybody on it. And we could tie that thing all the way up with the Bible, whether you believe in it or not. You can't help but knock the stories, although the stories are allegories. Yes, it tells you that in the Bible for those who don't read. So you can't knock the fact that these stories have a lot of facts in them, regardless of how you may feel about it. And these facts keep getting proven over and over again, which we're going to go to and get to at the AI segment of the show. But we don't have a lot of time today to get to all this stuff, so hopefully we make it that far. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the freaking show. Yes, sir, let's go. I forgot, but before we do, we gotta get our Norwegian, Sweden, Switzerland, Australian snow bunnies to bring us in. Here we go.
Let's get ready for the fitness segment of the show.
All right, there we go. You know, white people like trash music, especially white girls. That was some garbage music in the background. You hear it? I didn't pick that music. They actually added it on there. We could fix it, but it just fits the snow bunny so well. So we're going to leave it there. You know what I mean? They all look good. You know, 3-man all day long. You know what I mean? Is that how the young kids said? Did they say 3-man? I think that's what they say. Hell, I don't know. Bruh. I think. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the show for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get into the fitness segment of the show, which we're going to put the banner up on the screen right there. And then we're also going to switch over the screen to where you can see the multifidus muscle. Multifidus. I think that's how you say it. Multifidus. I believe so. Here we go. So we got the multifidus muscle, but we do got to change that banner and put that banner right there. And we're going to dive right into this thing. Let's see what we got. All right. Hold on. Something is bothering me. Give me 1 second. Hold on. One moment. Okay. I think I got it taken care of. Did I? Is it taken care of? No, it's not. What is it? Something is going on. Hold on. Let me get this figured out real quick. Hold on. Okay, I think we got it. All right, we are back on track. Sorry, it was driving me crazy. I kept hearing like an echo or something. I couldn't figure out what it was. Anyway, let's go and dive right into it. So we got the multifidus muscle right here. It is that muscle right there in the back. This is your back. This is the back of your body. If this is in your front part where your stomach is, go to the doctor. So right here is the multifidus muscle, which goes right down. You can actually feel it if you palpate down the middle of the spine area. It's like right next to the disc of your bones, and you'll feel it. All right. So let's see here what we got. Where is my thing where I'm going to read it, and we're going to watch this little video as this goes along. So we have the multifidus muscle. It belongs to a group of muscles called the transversospinalis muscle, which also includes the semispinalis and the rotaries. I think I said that right. It runs along both sides of the spine, connecting each vertebrae to the ones above it. Now, the origin of it is going to be where it starts, which is the posterior surface of the sacrum, the erector spinae, and the posterior superior iliac crest, which is the PSIS, and then the mammillary process of the lumbar vertebrae, the transverse process of the thoracic vertebrae, and the articular process of C4 and C7, which is going to be parts of your spine, in case you didn't know. Cervical vertebrae. So cervical is going to be up here at the top. And the insertion, where it attaches, is going to be to the spinaeus process of the vertebrae 2 through 4 levels above its origin. So each of the small segments of the multifidus connects to one vertebrae to another just as a few levels higher, forming a series of overlapping muscle bundles all along the spine. Yes, the spine. There you go. You see that? So earlier when I said what did I say? C4 and C7? Yeah, C4 and C7 is going to be up here. C4 and C7 is going to be up here where that's going to be connecting that up there. And then also we have the functions of it. It's going to be spinal stability. So stabilization of the spine. And it's gonna keep the spine stable during movement. So especially during lifting, bending, twisting, or it's critical for protecting the spine from injury. So, you know, you want to strengthen that muscle as much as you can. Always have a strong back. Always have a strong back muscle. This thing is still driving me nuts. Why am I still like bag of candy over here? Because it's like right in the way. I can put it here and eat candy as I do. Well, not candy. These are gonna be mints, not candy. All right. I'm not gonna be able to do this because I'm gonna keep hearing stuff. So let me figure this out as we keep going because I cannot help but keep hearing myself. Where do I keep hearing myself at? I think I might have got it. I think I might have got it. And we did. Cool. So with that being said, yes, keep a strong back. Want to have strong back muscles, okay? Have an erect posture and strength at all times. Where most of your power is going to come from is going to be your legs, the foundation of your body, and your back. Your back is going to be a very important part. The second function of this is extension. When both sides contract together, it helps extend the spine and bend backwards. All right, so like contortionist or some craziness. Rotation and lateral flexion. Number 3, the other function. When one side contracts, it helps rotate the spine to the opposite side and slightly side bend it. And number 4, the posterior control. Works continuously to maintain upright posture and balance. When you sit down, try to have an upright posture and don't slouch over. You want to keep your body erect at all times. Like an erection, keep your back erect at all times. The innervation, which is going to be the nerve supply, is supplied by the dorsal rami of the spinal nerves, the posterior branches of the spinal nerves along the back. And exercises to strengthen the multifundus is going to be the bird dog, the plank with hip extensions, the bridge with stability ball or marching bridge, and the pelvic tilt on all fours. Now, with that being said, we're going to see if we can find some workouts of some ladies doing said workouts, which is always going to be beneficial because we know that in today's world, ladies love to show themselves off in fitness and do things with workouts. And they tend to, how do I say it? Look good doing it, and we're going to enjoy every bit of it. So we're going to start off with this first lady right here and see if she's doing some stuff, but she's using resistant bands for her workout. All right, and she's going to be working the back muscles and some of the stuff that we talked about. You're going to see her doing these things. Let's see. You can wait. Let's wait, because for some reason I have something that's saying, oh, she's got her toes out. All right, so what we got right here? Let me refresh this first before we go any further, because it may or may not. It might screw me up, and I don't want to get screwed up on this. Wait. You know what? This is what we'll do. We'll duplicate it. How about that? Can we duplicate it? Is that okay? And it's giving me trouble as soon as I'm ready to show. I should have just showed it without hitting this button, because then now we're all screwed up. But anyway, we're going to start out with, oh crap, all of my things messed up. Oh no, that's not good. Oh, come on. Hello. Why are all of my pages screwed up? No freaking way. TikTok has did me dirty. All right, TikTok has did your boy dirty. We got to figure this out. We have to figure this out. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to see if it works this way. Does it work from this angle? It does. All right, so we got it from here. So then we'll do this. We'll copy, and then we're going to paste up here. We'll get straight back to the page where we were at. I don't know why it's doing this to me. This is actually pretty crazy. All right, cool. We're going to start out here with the first one. All right, then we're gonna have to go back and forth and do this. So this might take a minute, but we'll get it right. So here we go right here. We have a lady doing the workouts, and she's doing the bird dog. You can't bird dog, heel, side bridge, or march your way into the strongest core. So that's right here. She's doing it right there. Got a nice little visual. Nice little slim, stiff flat board, nice fitting tone body. As you see, she's working her back muscles, so shout out to her. Looking nice and sweaty. Alrighty, got a nice little tightly packed body going on there, so shout out to her. And as you can see, she is working the back muscles, full makeup on, working the back muscles all day long. Feet out. All right. And as you can see, she does have a good, strong back, as you can see the muscles right there. So that's going to be the bird dog. This one right here is called the bird dog. I don't know why they call it that, but that's what we have right there. There's a lady doing a bird dog. She's getting all of her back muscles worked out on this, and she's doing a really good job. Nice stabilization, as you can see. That's why she was doing it with one foot, stabilizing the core, and was working the hip flexors and was doing rotations for the back as well. So you need to rotate and rotation under load, which is important. I always want to add weight. So right here in stability and control, which is what we talked about. The multi-fetus is also important for stability and control. So doing this right here, it's also going to help with the stability and control. And then the next person that we have, let's see. Did everything work out yet? Oh yeah. Okay. I think we're back in business, y'all. I think we're back in business. No, we're not. How about you? Can we refresh this one and refresh this one? And refresh. Maybe if I hit them all with the refresh button, they'll all come back. But we do got the next one up, so we'll start with the next one. I thought we had the next one. I could have sworn I just seen her, and then she just disappeared on me. All right, cool. So then we'll just do it like this. We'll take her right here, bam, and we'll slam her right into the one we were just looking at. What we got? All right, so we got this one right here. She says she's gonna do warm up bird dogs, and so let's see what the warm up bird dogs look like. Here we go, warming up to the bird dogs. All right, are we gonna get to the bird dogs anytime? All righty, that's how women do nowadays. They have to, and hey, we're here for it. We are here for it. All right, I don't know if she's using her arm or she's just using her leg. She's using her arms. Okay, she's using her arms, and as we can see, so she's getting the bird dog done. And this is going to help the multi-fetus muscle somewhere up here in the back where you can't see, well, we can't see the back that we are trying to see, but we can see the back for sure. We can all see the back. You know what I'm saying? Green is looking nice. We do appreciate the green. So shout out to her for this view right here. We are greatly appreciative. So we like to thank women for what they do. And if they want the attention, we are here to give it to them and learn that this is the bird dog workout that is going to strengthen the middle of your back. I'm trying to point to her back there, like right here, like right down the back right there. It's going to be where it's going to be working out at. I don't know if that, maybe this helps for stabilization for the back as well. All right. So we got that going on as well. So shout out to her for that one. And then maybe we have the next one that's already ready and we don't have to wait. Do we got it? Did it work? Oh, they're doing me dirty. I might not even be able to go through all these. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, yeah, we're going to have to go through this one here. So the next one that we got right here is, let's see what we got. We have paste. I'm going to move pretty quick on this because I am doing pretty good. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Back up. No? Okay. Was that the wrong person? Let's see. Nope, not you. This is where we were right here. So we got this one right here. I had the same person 3 times. All right, so next we got this lady right here. There we go. All right. Now, I don't know exactly how. So this is going to help with bending of the back. So as we can see here, we got bending of the back with this lady. Shout out to her, showing us another way to work the multi-fetus muscle. Bending of the back is what's going to help that muscle right in there. That arch is killer, I tell you. Jesus. Oh, my goodness. So shout out to her for this bend in the back. We are here for it. We fully support this right here. Yes. We are supporting this one. Shout out to her for the bend, because as you can see, she is working her multi-fetus muscle because she needs to make sure that she has good stabilization and good strength right here in the back for staying stagnant in this posture when getting drilled, as we all know for sure. So shout out to her for that one. And let's see if we got the other ones coming up yet. Let's see. Nope. So we're going to go ahead and go to, let's see, copy and get this one going real quick. So shout out to her though. I have to keep that one. And then we got, who we got? This lady right here. All right, so release the pelvic floor, as you can see. So she's going to basically be helping us out understanding the pelvic floor. So let's see what we got here. So to release your pelvic floor, but also being on all fours does help with the multifidus muscle for stabilization, as we read earlier, in case you're wondering. Let me see right here. It says plank with hip extensions, bridge with stability ball, or pelvic tilt on all fours. So right here, she's pelvic tilt on all fours. So she's going to do a pelvic floor. And you probably can't see her. I don't have her on the screen, do I? I do not. So let me go ahead and get... Oh, I do have her on the screen. All right, there we go. All right, so there we go. All right. Oh, okay. Nice grab. Okay, she's working... Breathe into fingertips. Boy, I tell you, women, I say they do the darnest things and wonder why we see them the way we do. But shout out to them, though. I support it. I'm here for it. Happy birthday. All right. Shout out to you. Yes. So we were working the multifidus, like I said, working the pelvic bone, but on all fours. So this is also helping stabilization of the multifidus. So shout out to her. And she is getting that deep stretch in. It's going all the way up the back. So that for sure is going to help. And then this is what they call happy baby. I said happy birthday, happy baby. Yeah. So shout out to this lady right here for showing us how this workout goes. We got to give her a round of applause for this one right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got to figure out who she is. So we're going to have to keep her up here in a second. Okay, there we go. Then we got another one right here who is going to be also showing the stability of opening the pelvic up and keeping stabilization right here for the multifidus muscle in the back right here. Buddy is gone. Oh, turned his head as soon as she turned it. Oh my God, did y'all catch him? Did y'all catch him? Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Look at Buddy right here. He's staring at her. When she turns her head to the left, he switches his head off. Watch. Here, ready? Wait. She looks left. He turns his As soon as she turned left, he had to turn his head away. But, excuse me, helping stabilize the muscle and the multifidus muscle right here. All right. And right back there is where she stabilizes. So shout out to her. We're going to keep watching because, it's very entertaining and fun to watch women. We have to support them in everything that they do. Like me, a strong and independent, hardworking woman. Regardless of how they may feel about us watching, you put on the show and we shall give the attention. And this lady down here, she's actually working the multifidus muscle as well. You can see her down here in the pink. I didn't realize her. She's actually doing some good workouts. Oh, wow. So she's doing the happy, I don't know what you call that one. So you got these ladies out here doing all sorts of poses and people are supposed to be focused on what they're supposed to be doing and they're making life hard. But right here, is also trying to stretch out the multifidus muscle that goes right down the middle right there of your back. So these workouts actually do help with the back. So always keep that in mind, regardless of how they may look. So shout out to these ladies for giving us a great visual on giving yourself a strong structure of your back. Next, we have this lady right here who is going to be doing, let's start off from the beginning. Here we go. She's doing pelvic tilts, as we can see right here. Raising up the leg, helping with the strengthening of the multifidus, keeping the lower back flat on the floor because you don't want to have that back gap when you lay down. And this one here on all fours, working on stability of the multifidus muscle back here. Laying vacuum hold. I don't know what the hell that does. Reach over bridge, but also pelvic tilt. So it's going to help stabilize the multifidus muscle down here. Yes, sir. Shout out to this lady right here. Great visual dead bug, keeping the back flat on the floor and no back gap. So shout out to her for this one. This one's looking fantastic. We appreciate you for letting us know exactly how these muscles work. And this, I don't know what the hell you're doing right here. So shout out to that lady here. Hate to breeze through these so quick, but we do got to get to the end of it. And do we have one more? No, that's going to be all of them for today. So we went ahead and ran through all of these. Let me see. I got to go to this one right quick. Let me see what else she got going on. Yeah, we're going to have to keep you for future references because you seem very helpful for sure. Yeah, buddy. But yes, that's going to be it for the muscle of the day, the back muscles, as we have to get an understanding of what these muscles are for and how you must use them. So shout out to the ladies that showed up on today's show. And always remember, whenever you're exercising or working out, the main important thing is always have a good diet. Try to hit your macros the best as you possibly can and make sure that you are always burning your calories and try not to overeat too much of your calories. Stay away from sugary drinks. Stay away from too much carbs, because if you don't burn the carbs off, they will turn into sugar. Excuse me. So that is very important thing to keep in mind. Keep a high protein count. Protein will always will always work to build your muscles and help repair your muscles after you use them, or at least after you work out and put yourself through a significant amount of strain. Protein is your best friend. So always stick to protein high foods and try to stay away from snacking. Snacking and sugary drinks are going to work against you unless you're in a bulk. Then, you can kind of do what you want to do. But if you're trying to stay and maintain good all the way out, then always keep a high protein diet and not so many carbs unless you're pre-workout and slightly after you work out. And make sure your fats are healthy. And drink a lot of water, a lot of water. Stay away from dehydration. Speaking of, that's what I need to do right now. We're going to do that here in a second. So always keep that in mind. And cardio, put your body through some kind of cardio. I say go running. Go run. Because if you're starting to put on weight on this new body that you have, people get bigger and thicker or whatever they choose to do, and then they don't carry it. They don't carry the body. You need to understand what it feels like to carry this newfound weight, because your shins and your knees are going to try to figure out like what the hell is going on. Like, what is all this weight that we have? We're not used to this impact. So you want to be able to jog and carry this newfound weight that you have and utilize it. So make sure that you do cardio and you actually are able to carry the newfound weight if you are putting on weight as far as like a bulk and cut go. So therefore your body can understand exactly the stress that is going through, and it can adjust to be able to carry the new weight that you put on it. That's very important. There's no point in having muscles and you can only have endurance for like 5 minutes. That's horrible. I know everybody tries to run away from cardio, but go do cardio. Go outside. Go jogging. You know what I mean? Go touch grass. Go run in the grass. Do what you got to do, but make sure that you go exercise. Make sure you work out and hit cardio at all times. And be wary that when you see people on the internet, a lot of these people are on steroids. A lot. HGH, TRT, testosterone, something of that nature, they're on it. Some people they go to the Dr. Miami people, or doctors in Miami. They get a whole body contour and whole body sculpting. Then they work out with this body that's just got sculpted. So technically speaking, the way they look is not really a gym body. It's a body sculpted body, but it's also enhanced by, or I guess sustained through working out afterwards, but it was not earned through working out. It was sustained through working out. So you got to be wary when people go out here and try to, especially when you see women out here with great bodies, just know that a lot of the times they're doing all these different kind of body contourings and mommy makeovers and stuff, which I'm not against. I'm all cool for it, but you need to know what it is. You need to understand, a lot of people look good because they're going under the knife, and then they're sustaining the look with exercise afterwards, but it was not earned with exercise. It's sustained through exercise. So always keep that in mind. And we don't know how many times they go underneath the knife after that, because you hear that it's an addicted thing for people to do. So just keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. All right. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for the fitness segment of the show. We're going to have to go ahead and move on. All right. So now we're going to move into the economy segment of the show, okay? We're going to move into the economy segment of the show and see exactly what's been going on in the economy. As you know, we're still in the government shutdown, but before we dive deeper, let's go ahead and get our lady in to welcome us into the economy segment of the show. Let's go.
Welcome to the economy segment of the show. Enjoy.
Welcome to the economy segment of this show. And yes, we are still in the government shutdown. Today is, I believe, day 33, if I'm not mistaken. So they are not playing around about this government shutdown. So hopefully this gets taken away soon. But then again, at the same time, it's like a hit or miss, because when you find out the details of what's really going on, man, this government shutdown has a whole different underlying meaning than what one sees on the surface. With that being said, looking at the government shutdown and having an understanding of things, we all have learned that the Democrats are allegedly have declined from allowing the government to open up after 13 separate votes. They declined all 13. They rejected all 13 votes to reopen it because they want to use it as leverage because they have socialist Marxist ideology and they want to go ahead and implement that to basically keep their pockets padded because they do get kickbacks and money off of all these things that they do, and also for the agenda that they're pushing as far as, you know, LGBTQRS rights and all different things like that, and whatever else they put in as far as healthcare and things like that. We've already exposed and found out that these people get kickbacks for all this. So the pain that people are feeling versus what's really going on, it's like a double-edged sword, because they're looking at this as a leverage that they could use to further their agenda later on down the line, because they are already focused on that new election as far as the other small elections that are happening inside of your counties and states and stuff like that. So pay attention to those as well. But however, as far as this goes, we recently had a judge ordered the federal government to use funds for SNAP benefits. So right here, we're going to see that the federal judge has ordered the government to use funds for the SNAP benefits. But what we've learned is it's only for an amount of like 2 to 3 weeks. So if they use those funds, then about time December rolls around, maybe January at the latest, there ain't gonna be nothing there. So either Christmas is gonna suck, or it's just gonna be enough to get us by till the year 2026, and 2026 is gonna suck balls. Okay, so but let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what the federal government has put in place to use SNAP benefits for. So here we go.
Promise we're going to hit that breaking news as a judge has now officially ordered the federal government to use funds for SNAP benefits. Want to put up this live vantage point that we have there in Washington, D.C. Of course, we have been waiting for this judgment as those SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, were set to expire tomorrow, November 1st. And so many were facing questions of how they would continue to feed themselves. But just coming there from Boston, judges have now ordered the federal government to use contingency funds for SNAP food aid payments during this shutdown. And so to talk a lot more about what we're seeing here, how this was set up, and how we got to the point that we're at now, I want to bring into the conversation legal analyst Nima Rahmani. Nima, thanks so much for being with us. Perfect timing as this news just came out a few minutes ago that SNAP benefits have now been ruled by this federal judge to continue to go while the government is shut down.
Now, they can say that, but the question is, like I said, they only have 2 or 3 weeks worth of SNAP benefits to let out. And that's the, what is it, the emergency fund or contingency fund that this one crazy lady was talking about. And let me show you who that crazy lady is. Where's she at? Do I have her up on the screen still? I don't, but I'll find her. This lady right here who was arguing with, who is she arguing with? What's this guy's name she was arguing with? It was, man, I got some crazy stuff in my bookmarks. Jesus. Glad y'all can't see this. All right, where is it? Where is she? Where are you? The lady that was arguing about the benefits is right here. Got her. Okay. So her name is Melanie something, a Democrat, I think out of New Mexico. And basically this is what she's going to mention right here. So she's going to talk about this, about the SNAP benefits. And this was on day 28. And on day 28, they were like, hey, what's going on? Like the Democrats have shot down 13 times to reopen the government. And she's like, I'm here fighting. It's like, yeah, open the government. They've already voted 13 times and y'all shut it down. It takes an order of 60 votes. There's 53 Democrats and 47, there's 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats. All they need is 60 votes, but they won't do it because on the back end, they get their pockets lined up. Both sides probably do, but the Democrats have been letting immigrants in to take advantage of those things. And they've been letting them take huge advantage of those things. I don't know where you live at in the United States, but immigrants of all sorts, not just Latino immigrants, all of them, Ukrainian, Poland, Indian, all of them. They're all Somalian, Eritrean, Ethiopian, everybody. They've been taking advantage of anybody that's an immigrant, anybody. And the Democrats have been getting kickbacks on all sorts of things, whether it's healthcare, whether it's food stamps, SNAP benefits, all these stuff they get kickback for. in some shape, form, or fashion. And then they're also trying to push an ideology to fund different things outside of the country, outside of the United States. They're funding other countries with 4 million here, 4 million there, 50 billion here, 50 billion there. You know, Ukraine comes over here and they get all this money handed to them. In the meanwhile, the United States people get nothing. They just get raped over the coals. Now, she's going to speak on this and she's going to mention it. She's going to mention it. Then we're going to go back to the other guy and hear him speak on it to see how long we have to last. So let's go ahead and let these two talk for a little bit. And once she mentions it, we'll stop it. So here we go. Here's the crazy look, and look at her eyes, boy. This is eyes of a woman who does not care. The scariest thing in the world is a white liberal woman. But let's go.
Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear.
Yes or no question. She starts out with, let me be clear.
The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding
their
tactics.
By the White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This is also, Congresswoman, this is also a choice by Senate Democrats to not vote to open the government. Yes, it is. I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because they want Medicaid funds restored. They're doing it because they want Obamacare premiums to be extended past the end of the year. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear. The money for contingency plans is sitting there. That is why the states are suing. The White House is withholding funds from
2 to 3
children
weeks worth
to
of SNAP funds.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it may not be a big deal to you, but let me
it is
tell
a big
you
deal
that
to me.
for the grandparents, for grandparents
it is a big deal
that
to me.
literally are feeding their children,
My point is that it's a short-term
in
solution.
those accounts,
It's a short-term.
There we go. So there's a contingency money put up over there, and this guy says it's a short-term fix. She's like, hey, it don't matter if it's a short-term fix. Use the short-term fix. Okay, cool. So then what ends up happening is now the federal government has made them, I guess they're using this contingency money now, that's to my understanding. I guess they're using it. I guess we want to find out from this guy right here who's gonna talk about it. So now that we're using it, and we just heard it's like 2 or 3 weeks worth of food stamps, right? The contingency money that she mentioned, a Democrat, Melanie Crazy is what I'm gonna call her. And now that we know this is short-term fix, and she clearly said it don't matter if it's a short-term fix, what happens when it runs out? But let's see to make sure if this is the contingency money that she was referring to and the federal judge who ordered to use the SNAP benefits. And I'm curious as to who the federal judge was that ordered these SNAP benefits to be released. Let's find out real quick. Who is the judge? Who's the judge that ordered the SNAP benefits to be released? So let's see. Tells judge it will partially fund SNAP benefits using, but who is the judge though? I want to know who the judge was. So federal jump thanks Trump, orders him to make SNAP. A Massachusetts federal judge said Friday she'd likely order benefit payments to go out if USDA hasn't acted accordingly by Monday. All right, so cool. We can't find out. But let's go ahead and play this video and let's hear him talk about it. So here we go.
Christina, thanks for having me. And you're right, breaking news. And this is something we've been following for the past more than 24 hours now. Many of us Massachusetts issued her ruling today. And it really comes down to those contingency funds in the Department of Agriculture. So obviously we know there's a government shutdown and Congress can pass a spending bill, a continuing resolution, standalone legislation related to these SNAP benefits. But this isn't politics, this is the law. And approximately half the states in the District of Columbia, they filed a lawsuit challenging the Department of Agriculture's refusal to release these contingency funds. Now we're talking about more than $5 billion. Seems like a lot of money, but the SNAP program costs the department approximately $8.5 to $9 billion a month. So this will only get us through a few weeks, but the Department of Agriculture's position has been that these contingency funds can only be used for an emergency. And they describe that emergency to be a natural disaster, not something political like a government shutdown. But the judge apparently disagreed, and she ruled that this is the type of emergency that would require the release of those contingency funds.
And so
There it is. So the contingency funds are being partially released, $5 billion worth, and there's like $9 billion of what it takes monthly. So they're only using partial, like half of it. But like he said, the same thing as the other guy said, it's only going to be for 2 or 3 weeks. The lady was like, so what? It's a short-term fix. So what? And it's like, okay, cool. Now we found out the contingency funds were for an emergency. Now there's no emergency fund. Well, there still is. There's like half of an emergency fund, a little bit less than half of an emergency fund. They didn't use all of it, but they used half of it. So therefore, what do you do now? You know what I mean? Like, because we're going into 2026. If the Democrats don't open back up the government, then they're going to dry out all of this, all of the money. They're going to dry out all of the food stamp money. Then when that natural disaster or something happens, which it probably will, because the way the world is going, I mean, you can't put it past nothing for something crazy to happen. Because if all the contingency stuff gets ran out, everything is like clockwork. Like they're going to have a huge natural disaster or catastrophe, and they'll be like, oh no, we're out of contingency because of the government shutdown. It's like, well, he didn't want to use it, but the judge ordered it. So now here we are at square one. And before we go any further, I do want to say one thing about this gentleman right here. Where is he at? So this guy right here, just real quick, I forgot to play it, but real quick for him, let's go ahead and do it.
And the nominees for Best Actress in a Groovy Nightclub Drama, Miss Wayman Harrington.
All right, cool. Now we got that out the way. So we got this guy here. He's basically saying that the same thing that everybody else said. And it says right here on Friday, the judge in Rhode Island Friday blocked President Donald Trump administration from suspending all food aid for millions of Americans and amid the ongoing government shutdown. So they're they're using the contingency funds, and they're using it. And I guess it's going to help people get through Thanksgiving, allegedly, maybe. I guess, you know what I mean? People will be wiser to use the money. So they're helping them get through Thanksgiving. But what's going to happen when time goes on and stuff gets worse, you know? Because right now the Democrats are using this to their advantage. They're not going to let a good crisis go to waste because they're not concerned about people eating. It's like, hey, we just help the people eat. It's a short-term fix, but what do we do later on when you guys still don't want to open up the freaking government? Okay? Like, what is it that we do then? We don't know. We'll have to just wait and see when the time comes. So there's that. So hopefully everything works out, but I don't know. Things are getting crazy. So now we have the USDA secretary, when was this posted? This was yesterday. The USDA secretary calls to overhaul the EBT program as a massive fraud and corruption exposed. And it says right here that SNAP increased 40% under Biden's administration. 21 blue states refused to hand over data to DOJ to ensure illegals aren't getting benefits. Thousands of cases of illegals use the benefit fund, or thousands of cases of illegals use of the benefits found. Over 100 people arrested for SNAP fraud, and thousands of dead people receiving benefits. Jesus, it gets crazy. We're going to let this lady talk for a little bit and see what she has to say. So let's go ahead and zoom in on her and see what she has to say. So here we go.
Day one of USDA, February 13th, is we sent letters to every governor in America being very clear that no illegal aliens can use SNAP. 0, 0, 0. We asked every state for the first time in history, and this was in February, to send us their data and let us, with DOJ and a war room, actually start going through this data to better understand how this explosion of SNAP benefits happened under Joe Biden. We increased almost 40% on this program in just a couple of years under the Biden administration. Of course, we know they were trying to buy the election, but that's a conversation for another time. And since we have asked for that data, 29 states have complied. Of course, almost all the red states, a couple of couple blue states too. But in that data, and I haven't talked about this yet publicly, in that data we've studied about $100 billion in spend. We have found thousands and thousands of illegal use of the EBT card. We have been moving people off of SNAP. We've got almost 700,000 people, I think, we've moved off just since the president took office. We've arrested about 118 people. So this has been ongoing. But Rachel, to your point, what this conversation has allowed is a national spotlight on a broken and corrupt program. We found one guy in 6 different states getting a benefit. We found about 5,000 people that are dead who are still getting benefits. Like, it is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away and we can serve the American taxpayer.
5,000 people were dead and they were still receiving benefits. Bruh, that is brutal. So there you have it. One dude was in 6 different states getting benefits in every single state. And I even heard that some of the illegals would come over, and every time they came over, they'd get a check. So it turned into a hustle. You leave and come back, you get a check. You leave and come back, you get a check. You leave and come back, you get a check. It was like a hustle. They were just getting paid every single time they leave and come back. So now we're starting to see, as we peel back the layers and start to understand why the government is shut down. The government is shut down because these, the Democrats were just basically, for lack of better words, they were just shitting on the American people and were taking care of the foreign people outside of the country who were coming in. And they were, getting their votes and doing mail-in ballots and you don't have to register to vote and all that stuff. And you don't have proof. You don't have to have proof of citizenship and all that stuff. Well, speaking of that, right here, we have this. Speaking of that, so we had a situation where it says right here, breaking news, Colleen Constance Kohler-Catelli, Jesus. All right. She was appointed by Clinton. She has ruled that Trump cannot require citizenship proof on federal voting forms. Get the hell out of here. Come on. Really? So you don't have to be a citizen of this country to vote. Anybody can vote. You don't have to put your citizenship proof. It's not required. She's stating, I think what she said was he doesn't have that power, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what she said, but I'm not sure. But that right there, so this lady right here, and I had to dive deep and look at who she was because, she looks like a character out of a video game. But I found her. I found her, of course. Easy to find. Good old Wikipedia will do some research for you. So we got her right here. 1943 she was born. And let's just go ahead and dive in. Appointed by William Rick. Let's just go down here. From 97 to 2023, right here. Appointed by Clinton, preceded by Harold H. Green, and succeeded by Anna C. Reyes. Who was Anna C. Reyes? Who was in there before her? Oh, there we go, right there. Anna C. Reyes, the lady who was in here before her. She was a Uruguayan-born lawyer who served in the U.S. District Court. She was nominated to position by Joe Biden and is the first Latina and first openly LGBTQ person to serve as a district court judge in Washington, D.C. All right, so we kind of see where this is headed. All right, pretty simple. And right here, check this out. She graduated from Transylvania. Jesus, so she's a vampire. In 96. All right, this is who was in office before the old lady was in there. Reyes worked for Feminist Majority Foundation on its unsuccessful drive to defeat the 96 California Proposition 209, which sought to prohibit state governmental institutions from considering race, sex, or ethnicity, specifically in areas of public employment, public contracting, and public education. All right, so we see where they're headed by doing stuff like this. All right, so yeah. This is what she was all about. All right. This is the lady that was in her before her. All right. So before this lady right here, before her, it was, where is she at? No, right here. She was in there. So the first LGBTQ Uruguayan Latina lady. All right, so she was the first. So as you see, he had somebody from basically, I can't say she was an immigrant because she might have got her citizenship the right way. But you see how the Democrats are leaning, how they're doing things. Well, anyway, we got this old lady in here now, and basically with her, I did some digging on her as well, and it didn't really take too. Why is this popping up? There we go. let's see. So as we see right here, it wasn't really too hard to see exactly which way she was gonna be, working. It didn't take much time at all. But let's see right here. So she basically is blocking President Trump from putting from putting the what is it? You can't put proof of citizenship on voting ballots. So she blocked it. So this lady right here blocked it. And as we can see, he's got an uphill battle, because if the lady before was LGBTQ, then you got this lady right here who clearly is just like, I mean, was she 82 years old? Good Lord. Born in New York. Let's see. They were immigrants from Hungary. Okay, they worked, they did what they had to do, so they came here. I guess they probably got their stuff in the right way. Let's see. He worked as a U.S. foreign assistant in Mexico, Ecuador. So they have a lot of Latinos that are basically in prominent positions. So they put them there as far as the Democrats go. So the Democrats put these people in their place. But let's go down here real quick to see right here. Where are we at? What does she do? Right here in a 120-page ruling on April 24th, 2025, she blocked part of Trump's executive order that required people to prove that U.S. citizenships before registration to vote. She wrote that the states and Congress, not the president, have the power to regulate elections, which she probably could be right on that. She probably could. I would have to dive deeper into that to make sure all of that is true. But, she got it through regardless of what the situation is. But, this is some of the things that she's had her hands on. So we can go in here and look at everything that she's done. And in October 30th, you see right here, 2017, in Trump's first presidency, she blocked the enforcement of President Trump's ban on transgender individuals from serving in the military. So we had that going on. And then she didn't have anything happen all while. And after that, there was nothing going on, at least with her, at least, all the way up until now. And it says right here, she sentenced somebody for 57 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release for her part in blocking access to an abortion clinic, a violation of the FACE Act. So these people here is wild, right? So as we can see, this is how these people are coming. You know what I mean? They're pro-abortion. They don't see kids in the womb as kids. They'll whack a baby. They'll probably put transgenders in boys and girls bathrooms and all sorts of stuff. You know what I mean? And just to give you a better look at this, like this is the angle that they're trying to go forth in. Like this is basically what they're trying to do in a nutshell. And if this should make you think. Like this is how these people are trying to move. When you look at things on a big picture, this is how you should think of it, because this is what they're doing. Let me go find this real quick. It just went away. God dang it. There it goes right there. Found it. So we got stuff like this. Where'd it go? Right here. So you got stuff going on like this. So check this out. You know what I mean? These people think that this is okay. All right. So you got a big old dude right here, right? And this dude is basically singing a song to children, and he's taking tips from them. It's basically a big drag queen. See a little boy just tipping the money, and the boy mama back here is going to hand him some more dollars. So, he's taking tips as he sings to the kids. And right here it says, parent-teacher org for Groveland Park Elementary School held an all-ages family-friendly drag queen show where young children handed cash tips to a grown man dressed provocatively as a woman for a sexual theme performance. You know what I mean? So as you see here, this is what these people promoting. This is what they're pushing to kids. Do what you want to do, but leave these kids alone. That's my whole thing. Like, leave the children out of it. But you got children handing you tip money. And I don't want to hear what he's singing, but let's hear it. All right, I don't want to get a copyright for that one, but yeah, whole dude. Whole dude right here handing out tip money, getting tip money from little kids, singing as a drag queen dude to an elementary family friendly event. And all these parents is all cool with this. Like, you know what I mean? So you have to be careful with your kids going to public school nowadays, because this shit just gets out of hand at some point. Because that's, I mean, I'm just like, leave the kids alone. Like, stay away from the kids. Do what you do, but leave the children alone. But they not doing it. Anyhow, on to some other news. We are going to see here a comedian, Mr. Godfrey himself. He is going to do his impersonation of old President Trump to some of the U.S. military people. So let's go ahead and check him out and hear what he has to say. So here we go. Fun to watch.
Washington, I send out my black soldiers. Can you believe it? I got black soldiers. They're some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. I surround myself with black soldiers just in case, so people think I'm so racist. I'm not racist. I'm farther from being racist. Look at my black soldiers, all 3 of them. Out of the thousands of white soldiers I have, I found 3 black ones. Isn't that great? 3 of them. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, I should get like the Jackson 5. I only got 3 of them. They're great. Look at them. I got a short one. Look at that one. I got a medium. I got a bigger one. They're all great. Protecting DC, we have to protect them. And I guarantee you, I'm going to hire more black soldiers very soon. Very soon. You guys are great. Hey, thank you for your service, okay? Thank you for your service. Thank God. They should be cleaning my floors, but it's okay. Everything is just fine. This is great. U.S. Army. Black soldiers, black ones. I love them so well. They look very good. The green looks good on your skin. Look at it. It's fantastic. Isn't that fantastic?
Shout out to him for the Trump impression. That's pretty freaking funny. Shout out to Godfrey. Yep. It's always fun to have somebody do a Trump impression. It's fun to watch. Now, speaking of Trump, we do got to talk about this guy. All right, so Trump recently has been on a tangent for some odd reason. I can't really figure out why the hell he's on a tangent, but Buddy has a situation where he is focused on Nigeria. For some reason, he's focused on Nigeria. Don't know what it is. He's saying that Christians are getting slaughtered over there in Nigeria. So he feels the need that he has to do something. So he's like preparing the world for a war in Nigeria or some odd reason. So I don't know. Buddy's tripping, but we're going to go ahead and take a look exactly at what he has to say. So first, let's watch this old video. Then we're going to take a look at, he's saying it's Christians. Christians are being killed in Nigeria is what he's saying. And he says, we're not going to support that. We're not going to allow it to happen. Although he openly states that he's not a Christian, he wants to go and help and defend these Christians for whatever reason. I don't think it is God motivated or religion motivated, whatever the case may be. But we'll let him. First we'll hear him say it, and then we're gonna killing record. Whoops! First we're gonna hear him say it, then we're gonna read his tweet. So it shouldn't take us long. So here we go. There you go.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria, and they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
All right, so as you heard him, they're unaliving a bunch of Nigerians, and they're not going to allow it to happen. So he's like, no. Well, also he wrote a little something. He wrote a little piece, and in his piece that he wrote, where is it? I just had it up. I want to show you what he wrote, because he had something to say about this situation, and we got to exactly dissect what he said right here. So it says right here, let's see, Christians is facing an extensional threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being unalived. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter, and I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. But that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, 31,000 versus 4,400 worldwide, something must be done! Exclamation point. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Tom Cole, Chairman Tom Cole, that is, and the House Appropriations Committee to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria. and numerous other countries. So we stand ready and willing and able to save our great Christian population around the world. And this is his tweet, and you'll see it right there. So there's homie's tweet right there, all right? So for some reason, he just has this feeling in Nigeria that Christians are getting slaughtered like crazy. I don't know if they are, I don't know if they aren't. But what I can say is I looked into... There we go. What I can say is I looked into it, and let's see. Let me go ahead and show you what we have here. So it says this guy right here, Emoli Somoa. I might have that wrong, but let's see what he says. It seems like this guy is a Nigerian. Are you a Nigerian? Let's see. It's time for Nigeria's young and old to take ownership of their political future. So I think he is potentially a African. Is he an African chairman?
Hello.
Hello. All right. Let's see. Who are you? He is chairman, African Action Congress. So this gentleman right here. So this guy right here, he is, I can't say his name. I don't want to butcher his name. But he tweeted something. And in his tweet, he says this right here. He says the latest threat. He calls it a threat. All right. He says that the latest threat by United States President Donald Trump to launch military action in Nigeria, allegedly to protect Christians. And it may sound appealing to some. Still, history has shown this to be perilous. Whether you are a Christian, Muslim, animist, or non-religious, no one should celebrate such rhetoric. The U.S. and its allies have a long record of military interventions that leave nations more unstable than before. Eesh. They failed to secure peace in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, or Syria, and they won't bring salvation to Nigeria through bombs or boots on the ground. What Nigeria truly needs is not a foreign savior, but legitimate, accountable leadership, one that protects all citizens, upholds justice, and ends the cycle of corruption and violence that has left the nation broken. Then he says, at Donald Trump does not care about Nigerians, not Christians, Muslims, or anyone else. Our deliverance will never come from abroad. It must come from within through real leadership, not Tanibas of this world, and national renewal. All right, to speak up and stand up for your country, I'm going to give you a round of applause for that one there, buddy. For sure. And there it is right there. There's the tweet right there from a guy right there. There's a photo of him. So he basically said that to Trump to come in here and to mess with Nigerians Christians for some odd reason, he's basically calling it perilous, and he's saying it's going to do more damage than good. And it does make sense. If you want your country to be saved, it should not come from outside. It should come from within, which I feel that does make sense. However, looking at it from the same perspective, but hearing it come from a different person, this lady here, she's going to speak on the same situation, but she's going to go and dig deep and make you think about exactly what this situation is about. And let me know if you think she makes sense or is she just talking out the side of her neck. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up on the screen and we're going to see exactly what she says. She says, these are the real issues, but we are too distracted to see them clearly. So let's hear what she has to say. Let me put up on the screen and we're going to listen to her speak about this situation with Trump and Nigeria. Here we go. Let's let her talk.
With this strategic messaging about Nigeria. So he just called Nigeria a country of particular concern because in his words, Christians are being slaughtered. And he is talking about the 3,100 Christians who've sadly been killed, right? But we need to slow that right down because when you use faith like that and you ignore the Muslims dying too, it starts to feel like their lives don't count. And more than that, it hides what's actually driving the violence because do you really think that this is about religion? Anyway, I need you guys to stick with me so you can see what's actually going on here, right? It's the same conflict, same killers, and this isn't new. It's chaos that's been brewing for years. Armed groups, gunmen, rogue herders, all moving through gaps that the governments have failed to fill, right? Isn't this the same play that we've seen in Haiti, Sudan, DRC? Convenient? Break the state, then swoop in with a savior story. Why now? Why Nigeria? Well, here's what they're not saying, right? Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China. And it's not just what's underground, is it? It's the land. The Middle Belt grows the food that feeds the nation, fertile, rain-fed, high yield. And guess where the most violence hits? Right there. And I need to clarify, right? People aren't being killed just because they're Christian. They're being killed because they're in the way. And many of them happen to be Christian because that's what it dominates that area, right? So this isn't just about faith. It's about land control, food and power. That same zone full of ginger farms, mineral-rich soil, and foreign players are circling. The Gates Foundation invested in smallholder farming, agri-tech, yield targets. This is not a conspiracy, right? This is public record. But when the West enters through aid, it rarely ever stops at support. And some will say that these killers don't move alone, right? They're backed, tolerated, or armed by whoever's buying access. Local counterparts, foreign deals, the highest bidder. So when you hear Christian persecution, ask what's really at stake and how close the nearest air path is, right? Because China's already in, right? Ports, refineries, defense deals, ammunition factories. And now Trump wants Congress to get involved. That's not just concern. That's positioning. Because when America talks about saving Christians overseas, come on, man, is this really about faith? It looks like it might be a green light. It moves money, activates voters, justifies presence. And while that's happening, he's also saying, you know what? Maybe we should save Nigeria's best talent and make them come over and move to America. So which is it? Are you worried about the people dying? Or are you more concerned about scouting the ones who survive? That's not rescue, that's resource control. So what's the play? If I'm Nigeria, I tighten internal defense, limit foreign boots. If I'm a citizen, start asking who's funding the next rescue mission. This isn't about God, is it? What is it about? Nigeria's rise, the deals, the land, the leverage. Have they made it too powerful to ignore? Anyway, let's talk.
When you say it like that, sister, I can't argue with you. She came through with the bars, boy. I mean, yo, we got to give her a double round of applause for that one. She looked good too. And her t-shirt say "Visit Nigeria." Baby, I'm going to visit Nigeria. I sure am. Oh, wait, don't talk unless I make you. Yeah, she got that shirt that say "Visit Nigeria" too. Oh my goodness, she look nice. I'm gonna have to find her on social media real quick, but she makes a lot of sense when you say it like that. She said, "Is this really about religion? Is this about faith?" No, she said, "No. Yes, a lot of people have been unalived, but she said it happens in a certain area where all the resources are, where all the oil is, and it's not because of their religion. It's because they in the way." That makes a whole lot of sense. And she's like, you're trying to play the savior complex. I'm like, way to think. I like it. The lady got a brain on her head. She's got a good head on her shoulders, like for sure. So, I mean, I can't knock her. Excuse me. I can't knock her for pointing it out. I mean, once you think about it and put all them things together, plus you also heard the last dude who said, look, we don't need foreign person coming in here to save us like a savior. We got to help ourselves from within, which is true. I agree. Any country needs to be helping themselves from within. I mean, hell, look at what we just tried to do. I mean, the Democrats of America literally hired a shitload of immigrants, let them flood through, gave them all free stuff, and tried to use them to help them basically get themselves voted in again for a second round, by using foreign people to come in and pay them out the ass, and even got fake voters and people who are getting, and deceased people who are getting food stamps, and deceased people who are voting. Like, look what happens when foreign comes out to help you. And then when your whole Democratic Party is Marxist and socialist and have a foreign agenda on the outside. But at the end of the day, I mean, let's just call it what it is. A red and blue, Republican, Democrat, all the birds, feather of the same bird, wing of the same bird. So who you fooling? But we're seeing what they're saying. Like, what she's saying makes sense, because then I can look at America and be like, well, I can look at America and be like, well, bruh. I mean, she right. I mean, she ain't lying. So yeah, so shout out to her. I'm gonna have to go ahead and see where she. Well, let me see what she looking like. Cause she got her Instagram up on whatchamacallit. So I got to see what this thing look like. Hold on, give me about 2 seconds. I want to say Charmaine. Okay, Charmaine, huh? All right, let's see. Did I spell that right? I sure did not. I spelled that all wrong. I got excited. I got too excited. Ooh, I think I found you. She's a cultural comment. Is this her? No, this ain't her. Is this her? Yeah, she look a little heavier in this Twitter post as opposed to on her Instagram. But let me see what we got going on here. She look like a workout girly too. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, then she got on her Nigerian garb. Sheesh. I'm not gonna follow her though. We ain't doing that. We ain't gonna follow, but we are gonna stalk a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Oh my goodness, and I like the accent too. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the show because she over here being a distraction. She gotta get on somewhere with that nonsense. You playing too much. But I gotta get one of them Nigerian garn photos for sure. We gotta store those in the save button. But stop wearing weave though, ladies. I'm sorry. I don't care where you at across the world. Stop wearing weaves. It's not attractive. It's not cute. Nobody wants to see it. Stop doing it, even in Nigeria. But hey, you can't knock it. She came with the truth. She came with the facts. At least I think she did. So shout out to them for wanting to save themselves from within and not use a savior complex from without. Because foreign aid helping your country, it's not really a good look. So I can dig it. I can dig it. So shout out to Nigeria for standing up for Nigeria and doing what Nigeria does, because we should be doing the same thing. That's what every country should do. Save from within. Now we got this gentleman here. He's going to speak on the old thing. He's going to talk about the prohibition. He's going to say, what did he say? What's something going on with my hair? He's going to say, did we need a prohibition? But when he speaks on a prohibition, listen to what this sounds like. Listen to what he speaks on. When he talks about this, he says, do we really need a prohibition? But listen to how it sounds when you speak on it in today's context. So I'm going to let this guy cook here for a minute, and we're going to see what he says about us needing a prohibition and see how this sounds in today's world. So here we go.
I don't know why I'm so fascinated lately with where we went wrong in America. Maybe because we need to make these things right, but how do we at this point? Like, how did this small little group of people sink their claws into America and literally conquer every pivotal cultural pillar?
They did that by voting. That's how they did that. They voted. That's all.
Of our entire lives. Anyway, did you know that the first Model A Ford car, Henry Ford, it ran off of ethanol derived from corn. So farmers could literally produce their own fuel. So they were running engines, not just off a car, from their agriculture. So what were we told about the prohibition? That there was this huge moral crisis because of too much alcohol consumption. So the government had to come save us. But do you think there might be another side to that story?
Rockefeller was the best monopolist we've ever had. So we had a monopoly on oil and then transport and things like that. And they busted it up. So, well, what did he do? One thing he did, people don't know this, the original Model T Ford ran on corn alcohol. So a farmer could make their own fuel in their field. Why do you think he spent $1 million on funding prohibition for 8 years, which banned all fermentation, not just for drinking alcohol, just long enough to get gas stations based on petroleum out there? And then why did he fund the formation of the American Medical Association to go after and destroy natural medicine? Because pharmaceutical ingredients are all petroleum. So the big pharma companies were spun out of big oil companies. So big oil funded big chemical, and these big chemical companies funded big pharma. And they all come from the Rockefeller monopolistic thing. And even the latest evil stuff like the Bill Gates things going on, people don't know this. He's the largest owner of farmland in the country. You know what Bill Gates' dad did?
What?
He was Rockefeller's top attorney.
Anyway.
Yeah, the more you know, the more you grow. Fun fact, that's all I want to say. Fun fact. Regardless if you agree with it or not, did you know that? Because I sure as hell didn't. That was actually some interesting stuff to find out and learn. Because yeah, to become to monopolize something, that's a hell of a way to do it. But it was like cars can run off of corn fuel or corn or petroleum or whatever the case may be. So Buddy he said, you know what? let's go ahead and start that prohibition. We don't want these people figuring that part out. So we need to go ahead and throw up some gas stations so they can stop at our gas stations, get gas before the farmers get that gas money. I mean, bruh, he was like, I gotta kill the competition, and he sure as hell did. Then he got in on that farmer stuff. Until this day, his mark is still being felt. So, you know, the more you know, the more you grow. Always got to learn something from history, because there's a lot of stuff that you may or may not know, and it's interesting to find out how things work. And now we have moved away from, or we're moving away from gas cars, and we're going into this whole electrical battery thing that's going on now. So, and then to the point where they don't want you driving cars anymore. They're gonna have you doing some iRobot stuff, and they ain't gonna want you driving. You'll be driving in like a little bitty, I don't know, race buggy thingies out on the side over there in BFE, just, you know, having fun driving a car, but you can't drive them on the regular roads because they don't allow driving anymore, which that's gonna suck. I think they said they don't want you driving. They're gonna have EV cars doing all the driving in like the next 20 years. I'm like, bruh, hell no. No. I'm still driving. That's just me. But we shall see. We shall see how it goes. Now, back to good old Trump. And to speak on Trump, he has been at war with these Democrat people ever since his last presidential term. And in his last presidential term, he's always been about shutting down the border. And we kind of see why now. Because when you got stuff like this going on, bruh, it really makes you think. You know what I mean? Like when you have stuff like this going on, you know what I mean? It really makes you think. It makes you wonder, like, you know, no, what the hell does the borders have to do with it? But when we go back and we look at all this other stuff, and we see that when you had this lady who was basically speaking on the fraud that was going on as far as the overhaul of the EBT programs and the fraud that was going on behind it, with the SNAP increasing 40% under Biden, and 21 blue states refused to hand over to ensure illegals aren't getting benefits, and thousands of cases of illegal use of the benefit found, and over 100 people arrested for SNAP fraud, and thousands of dead people receiving benefits. When you see all this going on, right, it's kind of hard not to ignore when you go back in time, back on his first presidency. And this is a video I'm going to show you from December of 2018, back when Trump was in presidency last time. Now let's check this out. His good old buddy Chuck Schumer, he says that Trump temper tantrum will shut down the government, but it will not get him his wall. And he says President Trump is not signing a budget extension to keep the government funded until February unless the border wall money is added. So as we see right here, this is right here, December of 2018. And there you go, old Nancy. Now, that is Nancy. Now, he's been trying to shut down the border for a long time. Now, I get it. You can shut down the border, but then, you know, what about the other immigrants? Because immigrants are not just Latinos and stuff like that. Immigrants are all of them. You know what I mean? Immigrants come from any other country. So anybody from another country is an immigrant, basically. So, unless they go through the process. So he's been at this for a minute. He's been going at this for a minute. And he's been, you know, trying to get his wall built, build the wall, which I thought the wall was pretty stupid, because it's like, bro, like they finna, come on now, bro. You know the Mexicans finna hop over that wall, underneath that wall, around that wall, break down the wall and use the wall so they benefit. And so in turn, that never happened. But what it does show you is that he's been at this for a long time, but he was looking at all the immigrants that were coming over. And in a sense, regardless of how you may look at it, even if he was only looking at a wall to be put up, he was wrong, but right. He was right about the immigrants and the immigration that was going on. He was right about that. And he's been going at that ever since this right here. Here's another little short thing I'm going to show you. December 11th, 2018. Him, Pelosi and Schumer all in a room, and they having a conversation about him shutting down the government, which he did last time in his presidency, and I believe it was in 2019 when he did it. We'll hear a little quick piece of this conversation of them talking real quick to show that he's been fighting at this government shutdown, which he did last time, but he was going for a wall shutdown, but he was onto something as far as him understanding the concept of having too many immigrants coming over, because maybe he saw from back then, like, these fools got these people coming over here illegally and they doing all sorts of BS, you know, behind the people's back, and we start to see it now. But let's take a look at this from 2018 to hear this short little conversation.
When we're not stipulating to a set of facts, and when we wanted to have a debate with you about saying we confront some of those facts without.
You know what? We need border security. That's what we're going to be talking about, border security. If we don't have border security, we'll shut down the government. This country needs border security. The wall is a part of border security. Let's have a talk. We're going to get the wall built, and we've done a lot of wall already.
One thing I think we can agree on is we shouldn't shut down the government over a dispute. And you want to shut it down. You keep talking about it.
The last time, Chuck, you shut it down.
No.
And then you opened it up very quickly. And
20 times.
I don't want to do what you did.
20 times you have called for, I will shut down the government if I don't get my wall. None of us have said.
You want to know something?
You've said it.
Okay, you want to put that on my.
You've said it.
I'll take it.
Okay, good.
You know what I'll say? Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what,
disagree.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck, because the people of this country don't want criminals and people that have lots of problems and drugs pouring into our country. So I will take the mantle. I will be the one to shut it down. I'm not going to blame you for it. The last time you shut it down, it didn't work. I will take the mantle of shutting down. And I'm going to shut it down for border
But we
security.
believe you shouldn't shut it down.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, there you go. He says, Chuck Schumer says, we believe you. Oh, wait, who was this? Okay. He said, we believe you shouldn't shut it down. But he was like, look, I'm shutting it down for border security. Now, hindsight's 2020. That was 2018 that conversation was happening. Then we go back and we look at stuff like this right here. Where we at? We look at stuff like this right here. The stuff I just showed you. We look at this right here and we see that all the stuff they were doing, all the illegals are coming over and they were getting benefits out the ass. You know what I mean? They were getting crazy benefits. As a matter of fact, we can even dive deeper into more benefits to look at stuff like the Ukrainian benefits that they were getting. And we can dive into that. Let's see. Ukraine benefits. Let's see the benefits that Ukraine gets. So let's see. We can probably figure this out really quick. Ukrainians are running not only Europe and Russia, but have been occupied. Okay, let's see what is the result. Let me find this in a quick way. Ukraine benefits coming to America. Ooh, I spelled that badly. All right, so here we go. So Ukrainian refugees in the U.S. will receive. All right, so Ukrainians arriving. All right, so here we go. So then this is right here. So when Ukraine came over, it has the Ukraine may be eligible for various federal benefits depending on their immigration status, such as temporary protected status or humanitarian parole. These benefits can include cash assistance through programs like TANF and SSI, health insurance via Medicaid, and food assistance through SNAP, along with resettlement services. So I can't remember if this was under Trump or was this, we'll see, was Ukraine under Trump or Biden? Was Ukraine under Trump or Biden? 2029 Trump-Ukraine scandal. Oh, crap. Trump. Oh, man. You messed up on that one. It was a political scandal that arose probably to discover the U.S. President Trump's attempt to coerce Ukraine into investigating his political rival in Biden's campaign. Okay, cool. So Trump enlisted surrogates and outside of his administration, including personal lawyer and attorney, to pressure Ukraine and other governments to cooperate in supporting and legitimizing the Biden-Ukraine conspiracy and other conspiracies. The Trump blocked payment of congressionally mandated $400 million military aid package in an attempt to obtain quid pro quo cooperation from. The contracts were established between the White House and government of Ukraine, culminating in a call between Trump and Zelensky on 2019. All right, cool. So he had that. But still, at the end of the day, we still had the same problem that we have today. And we saw that at the end of the day, hindsight was 2020. There was a lot of this stuff going on. Now, when you look at all this stuff and you look at the big picture and you see where everything is headed, you have to ask yourself, what is this? Why do I have a little fruit fly? Where are you? Come on, I'm about to kill you. Did I get you? I missed. Oh, let me get that. Anyway, to look at all this and kind of take a look at the big picture as to where all this is headed at the end. Here this is a little expert, a little story from a guy named Paul Harvey, who broadcasted this in 1965, and he did a little short broadcast, "If I Were the Devil." And it says what it was really amazing to realize that over 58 years ago, how what he says is prophesizing today. And to ask yourself, listening to what he said way back when and see how this is playing out now. And of course, the red and blue are the birds of the same feather, or a feather or wing of the same bird. But listening to what this man is about to say from my 1965 broadcast, to see If I Were the Devil and how everything has panned out till now, you look at the big picture of things and you kind of have to wonder and ask yourself, what is really the end result and the big play of all of this stuff happening? What is really the big cause, and what is really the big end game of all of this that's going on? So let's watch this video real quick, or listen to this guy. He's going to break this down from a 1965 broadcast. So check this out and listen to what he has to say. Here we go. Let's get it.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography.
We're talking about 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds. He's got over 600 images, gobs of video footage of these children. But you say this does not signal a heinous or egregious child pornography offense. And then you went on to say the defendant was merely trying to satisfy his curiosity. That's somehow a reason to only give him 3 months. Help me understand this.
Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. I would caution against extremes.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey.
1965, boy. He came way back when, and look at where we are now with what he just said. Now, if we keep pushing in that direction, we'll end up to a point where we're going to get to a point where we're going to, because we're heading in that direction. We're going to get to a point where digital ID gets put into place. And when digital ID gets put into place, it's going to be clamped, because at that point, then they can put everything else to where what they want to put on one single card and have everything in one single database. Okay. And that one single database will have the power to do everything. Now here's a quick little 30-second clip of what it would look like in 2030 if you had a mandatory vaccination that was coming in 2030 with digital ID in place and using, your phone as a part of the way to use the government to send you out a message for your vaccination. So let's take a look at what this would look like in a long run. Here we go.
Hello everyone, meet Lucy, student in psychology, and me, her digital ID wallet issued by the government to offer a wide range of identity services. In fact, I'm a handy way of proving and protecting her identity both online and face-to-face. Let's have a closer look at what I can do. I can help governments to better communicate with citizens. Right now, I'm reminding Lucy of the appointment she needs to schedule for her mandatory vaccination.
All right, so as you see there, she got a message from her phone letting her know that, oh, yo, vaccination reminder. This is her Thyla's ID wallet. So she's got her digital ID, but it's an ID wallet. Pretty sure it's just tied to everything else, letting her know that she needs to be vaccinated. Now, when you look at this, and you look at this on a big scale, you had someone by the name of Rudolf Steiner who warned us 100 years ago about the elimination of the soul via medicine. And he spoke on this situation right here. And as you see him right here, eliminate the soul with medicine. Rudolf Steiner, he warned us 100 years ago. And I'm not sure if he was on the people's side, or he was just a guy on, the opposing side, basically stating like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. But he says right here, he said this over more than 100 years ago, and he wrote, in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine under the pretext of a healthy point of view, and there will be vaccines by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible directly at birth. So the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit. Now, to materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today, people are vaccinated against this disease or that disease. So in the future, children will be vaccinated with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this vaccination, will be immune to being subjected to the madness of spiritual life. They call spiritual life madness. He would be extremely smart as pertaining to the vaccinated person. The vaccinated person will be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience. And that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. Think about that. Materialistic circles, true purpose is to make sure that you don't develop a conscience. With such a vaccine, you can easily make the etheric body loose in the physical body. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body will become extremely unstable, and man will become an automaton. For the physical body of a man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So the vaccine becomes kind of an Arianic force. Man can no longer get rid of a given materialistic feeling. He becomes a materialistic of constitution and can no longer rise to the spiritual. Doing this through vaccines, doing this through medicine. And then you see a bunch of people who are extremely materialistic in circle, and they have no ties to consciousness whatsoever. They don't. Now, if they know this, why would they do this? Why would somebody be trying to go out of the way to make you unconscious? Because if somebody believes that they can make you unconscious, then that means that consciousness is real. And it takes steps to get you to that point. It takes steps. Step after step after step. But, they're working their way towards that step. Regardless of what you think. They're working their way towards that step. And in the end, the steps work in tangent. And they get you to a point that's similar to this. And the end game of what the steps will be is going to be this right here.
This government will make today, I am announcing, this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
You will not be able to work in the UK if you don't have a digital ID. That was a 2025 Global Progress Summit, whatever stuff they had. Now, if I could find this woman right here, where she basically broke this down to a science as to exactly how they would roll all this out. Where is she at? Can I find her, or is she in the next expert? She's in the next expert. I'm supposed to tie this in with the AI as well. I guess I could just go ahead and roll on over to the AI segment of the show, because we only got 30 minutes left. Yeah, I'm gonna roll on over to the AI segment of the show. But as you can see, this is what he's referring to. Now, if you cannot work without a digital ID, doesn't that sound like something you've heard before? It doesn't sound like something you've heard before. Doesn't it sound similar? Here, let's go ahead and pull this up on screen for you. Let's see. Let me pull up where you might have heard this from. Let me see. Come on. There we go. Let's see. All right, here we go. And we're gonna see it right here. We'll read the full chapter. Should we switch it up? Yeah, we'll do the right there, and then we'll search it up like this. And here we go. All right, now where does it say right here? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is right there. Okay, here we go. So I have this dude speaking, and he's basically saying this in a nutshell. This is what he's saying. Oh man, they kicked me off a kick. I got kicked off a kick, but we're back on. All right, we're good. Oh, whoa. Are we back on? No, we're still offline on kick. Jesus, they really kicked me off. Interesting. I'll have to figure that out. I wonder why. Why they kick me off a kick? That's crazy. There we go. Back and running on kick. So right here, what the previous guy was just saying is this right here. In a nutshell, in that no one may be able to buy or sell except one who has the mark on his name of the beast or the number on his name. Here is wisdom. Let who understand and calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man, his number is 666. So as you can see, what he is speaking on is similar to what this guy here just said a second ago. Oh, God, I thought you could see it. But he made it pretty clear that you're going to have to be able to utilize their stuff in order to work. Okay? If you can't work, you can't buy nothing. You know what I mean? You really won't have nothing to sell. So they're going hand in hand with all of this stuff right here. You can clearly see it clear as day. There's nothing to hide. You know what I mean? It's not hard to see. And we're going to switch over to the AI segment of the show real quick to wrap this all up into one big picture and to have this next guy speak on exactly how the digital ID is going to be influenced. And then you're going to hear a guy who basically thinks it's the coolest thing in the world, not knowing that he's going to be a victim of it. But I don't know. I mean, if you know what side you play on, I guess it's not an issue, you know, because you're already benefiting from it. And remember, I want you to remember this, okay? Before I show you this, remember this right here. I read this to you. Remember this. Where the hell is my thing? There it is. Remember this, okay? Remember this. Remember what I read to you. To materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. Materialistic doctors, okay? We will eliminate the soul with medicine. So they will eliminate the soul with medicine under pretext of a healthy point of view, and there will be vaccines, which in the human body will be treated as soon as directly from birth, okay? Then it says right here, a person who is vaccinated will be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience. And this is the true goal of some materialistic circles. So just think about this. When you see a lot of people, for some reason, we put wealth in money and we tie that around people to be smart. But these people could just be materialistic with no consciousness. So with that being said, watch when we get to the AI segment of the show real quick. Listen to what this guy's going to say about the digital ID and listen to the other dude talking. How he looks. It's very clean, cut. All this good stuff. Everything's working out for him really well. But it makes you think how many people are already have like taken the plunge, taken the dive as to be like in the Matrix, where the one guy, what was his name? The bald-headed dude had made a decision to be like, look, I want to be rich and famous. I don't want to know about any of this stuff. You know, I know this steak ain't real, but it tastes good and all that nonsense. But let me go ahead and dive into the AI segment of the show so we can go ahead and get on with the rest of the show. So here we go.
Welcome to the AI segment of the show.
All right, so here we go. So we got this guy right here who is going to basically speak on the digital ID, and he's going to basically speak about, and this guy right here is going to be thinking, like, listen to what the way he responds, okay? There's going to be a different guy talking. Listen to how he responds. This guy's going to talk about the digital ID and how it's going to basically work with, you know, facial scans and all of that stuff and scanning your passport, and how the digital IDs are going to work and how it's going to basically remove you from freedom of, it's basically going to remove your freedom and have you under control. Listen to what he says and listen to how this guy responds to digital ID. And just understand that some people are okay with it. And I'm trying to help you understand that you need to pick a side. You're going to be with it or without it, but just know that there's going to be consequences that come with being without it. So here we go. Oh, crap. Can we run it back? There we go. And we can't hear him. God dang it. Where's your volume? There it is. All right, here we go.
ID. Okay, 17 countries have rolled out or passed digital ID laws in the last 3 months.
Can you do me a favor and explain to me what digital ID is first?
It's implemented in stages, though, too. So it's implemented in stages. So digital ID is essentially tying your biometric. The ultimate goal is tying your biometrics to a essentially IP address on maybe, let's say, a blockchain, so that you can have your own social credit score based on the things you say, the things you pay, and the things you do.
Black Mirror.
Very 1000% Black Mirror. So basically every single Revelations type prophetic show that you've ever watched, that.
Because when I think of digital ID, I have been flying a lot lately, especially with Delta, and it has digital ID on it, and it's awesome because you walk up and you're like, it shows your picture. I scan TSA pre-check and digital ID. I walk up, don't take my shoes off, my belt off. It scans my thing. They don't need my boarding pass. They don't need my passport. They don't need anything.
Well,
I'm like, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, it is awesome. Don't get used to traveling, though. Because beyond in this podcast, they're gonna flag your ass here in about 2 years. Yeah, bro, you won't even be able to start your car, right? So it's that like inability to be able to buy or sell unless your social credit score checks out. So there's 17 countries that have rolled out or passed this. Okay,
hold on.
All right.
When you say social credit score, because there was a Black Mirror episode. Did you watch Black Mirror yet? No. Son of a bitch.
Get to your point, because I want to say 17 countries that are doing this now. The EU, the UK, Laos, China, Taiwan, Mexico, Zambia, Canada, Ethiopia, Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, Costa Rica, Switzerland, and Papua New Guinea.
Mexico is the new president is trying to pass a law saying that you can be jailed for memes or making fun of any political figures or the president of Mexico. You will be fined up to, I want to say, $20,000
or 3 years in prison.
If you make a meme.
Somebody just went to jail in the EU just over a meme.
Oh crap! That probably sounded horrible on the playback. But anyway, what that guy was saying was, 17 countries already rolling out, and he was speaking on the Bible verse I just showed you. He spoke on that and said, "Look, it's gonna roll out in the same context." And they're doing it under the guise of, safety. And the one guy was like, it's so cool. I don't have to do anything. I just walk up and they scan my stuff and, I just walk right in. It's awesome. And the dude was like, yeah, it'll be cool until, you start to get canceled and everything doesn't start going your way. So the other guys one guy already mentioned that they're already doing digital ID. He's already, exercising doing a digital ID where he's been traveling. And he's named 17 places. So with those 17 places and how they're going to roll out, they're going to roll out in increments. And small, little bitty, tiny increments. You're already doing the UK, Laos, Thailand, all this different stuff. 17 countries in 3 months. Now, I've done a video on the IMF, and I've already showed you how I've already showed you their mission statements and what it is that they're moving towards and how things are going to roll out. And, they are focused on prosperity and opportunity for investments. That's one of the main things. Now, I'm gonna have another lady. She's gonna break down this to you, okay? And she's gonna explain exactly how they will accomplish it. The digital ID in the 15-minute prisons, okay? But she's gonna go into a really detailed thing, and I'm gonna have to slow her down as she goes because she talks for like 3 minutes. So I'm gonna interject in between. But we're gonna see exactly how this works out and how this will be rolled out. So let's pay attention to this because we're almost done. And we're going to wrap all this and tie all this together just to show you and see that, number one, this is going to happen. Excuse me. You ain't going to stop it. And number two, just to give you an idea of like, hey, you might want to, because if you're poor or you're under UBI, they got you by the balls and you ain't getting out of it because there's, you're not going to have any way to advance yourself. It's going to kill ambition and all that stuff. But let's check her out. So here we go. Listen to what she has to say.
Digital.
All right, here we go. Running her back.
No digital ID. CBDC rationing, lockdowns, arrests, death.
With what they're doing. Well, they will actually put lock steps into place first before they enact the 15-minute city. And usually they will either do it with a pandemic or a climate change lockdown. So the first step to the 15-minute cities is to introduce digital IDs.
So she said 15-minute cities. So cities are going to be the main thing because that's where they push everybody. Everybody's pushing to a city. There's not many people out in rural areas, but mainly people are pushed to cities. And cities are going to be the places where they get it the worst because it's where the tightly population of people are. Everybody's clustered up in cities. You know what I mean? Everybody's in these little bitty cities and towns and nobody's out and land anything or relying on the fat of the land. So the cities are going to be the place where they're going to hit it hardest the most. And that's where everybody is.
That's where they take all of our IDs, everything that you live off of, and they centralize it in one ID where one entity can just shut it off. So now they can control you through that way. But you still have the ability to move and go and buy whatever you want.
See, so like she said, that's the first wave. The first wave is like everything seems cool. You get it the first time, and once you get it at the beginning, it's like, oh, well, it's not so bad. It's not all that bad. Like, we got it now. I don't feel anything different. That's the beginning phase. And once they get it in, then it's like, okay, cool. Now we can just clamp down piece by piece by piece by piece. That was step one. So now she's going to move on over next to step two.
Step is CBDCs, which is the central bank digital currencies, which means they can see every single thing that you purchase. So instead of going to the store and them just seeing you spend $150 at the store, they will be able to see everything that you bought. Then they will enact carbon credits.
Now just imagine this. You go to the store to spend $100 on whatever why the hell would you spend $100? Well, let's say you go to the gas station, you spend $50. Now in a surveillance state, it's kind of like the movie Enemy of the State. They can see you drive to the store when you pull up to the gas station or the convenience store. They see you get out the car. They see you walk in the store. They see what you grab. And then they'll be able to watch you look at everything that you bought in that store. And there won't be nothing hidden. Not a single thing. Anything. If you were to grab joint papers and swishers and a bag of ice, they're going to see that. Plus gas. They're going to see that. Oh, you gave a homeless person some money. They're going to see that. When you walked out the gas station, you gave a homeless person some money. They're going to see that. So all the little, lifestyles of the sugar baby and sugar daddy. Yeah, they're going to see that. They're going to tax that too. Like all these little things come into effect. All these little details. But let's let her keep going real quick. So here we go.
Food, travel, airplanes, hotels. Like you already see it. If you go and book an airplane or if you go book a hotel room or whatever. And in the UK now they're introducing carbon credits on food labels so that you can get trained on what a carbon credit looks like. Then they will either enact another pandemic or a climate change lockdown through bullshit science. And because all the countries already signed the WHO pandemic treaty, we all have to be in line with what they want. And they will shut you down in those 15-minute cities. Now,
if once the digital ID is put in and your CBDC is implemented and it's tied in, that right there is going to be it. So whatever next pandemic they implement, they could just cut your money off if you don't. Because remember last time people had to say so. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to. They're like, cool, we're just going to turn off your CBD. Oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna get a bad grade on your social credit score because you're not. So by that time they got you by the balls and it's like, what are you gonna do? Because now you can't buy, you know what I mean? You're not following what they say now because they got you under control. They got you. But let's keep going.
If your mayor has signed on to the 15-minute cities and has received funding so that your place becomes a 15-minute city, you will see a lot more cameras around in your area, and it will be the perimeter of the 15-minute city. And now that you're digitalized completely, meaning you need your phone just to go scan something, you need your phone just to have the digital ID, just to have the CBDCs, now you have something called a wearable. And they will probably make wearables even more prominent so that you can be tracked. So now if you cross over a certain line, those cameras can catch you. And now you're in an area that you shouldn't be. And that is how they will enact the 15-minute cities. Now,
cross over a line and you are somewhere you shouldn't be. So now you got geographical restrictions placed on you via a digital ID lifestyle. You got geographical restrictions put on you where you shouldn't. Kind of like that movie with Justin Timberlake called In Time, where they had time on their hand, and but their time was like their currency. When they ran out of time, they die. Remember, there was different classes that they could go to, but the class cost time. So if you wanted to go to, if you want to go from a lower class to a more richer class, whatever, it would cost you like a year, 5 years, 10 years, half a millennium, or whatever like that. It cost you. So, you know, there's always going to be restrictions placed on you to where you can go and how far you can go and all that stuff. So they break it down into increments. And for some reason, I don't know why, but people always think that whenever you do things in a form of mob rule, which is like communism of the government, they always feel like or believe that the government has their best interests at heart. It's not always the case, because if you're giving somebody else the authority over you, which we've seen in ancient texts and in Bibles, it's always turned out bad. Always. But let's let it keep cooking. She's almost done.
Let's say you live on the West End and you work on the East End and you're like, how will I get there? Well, first, they will see if you can work from home. If you can, you're working from home. If you can't, you can go on UBI, Universal Basic Income, because they want everybody on a welfare state because AI is taking most of our jobs. And if you can and you're useful, you will get a pass. And that pass will allow you to go to work and from work, and that's it. You're not allowed to stop anywhere. You will need permission for that. And they will literally use this kind of logic in the name of climate science or whatever else that they come up with. That's all bullshit. Does that kind of make a little bit more sense? Which is why we're all talking about how dangerous these locksteps are for them to finally get their end goal.
Yes. Lockstep, step by step, they're breaking it down incrementally to get you to where they want to get you to. Now, to hear it come out of the horse's mouth, the World Economic Forum just said that the biometric digital ID will be good because they can check who has been vaccinated. Okay? Because remember, I just showed you a video a second ago of a lady who basically showed like 2030 where she had her phone that was showing her to get her mandatory vaccination. But if the World Economic Forum has a biometric digital ID, why the hell would they want to check if you've been vaccinated? Remember, I just showed you Rudolph Steiner, and what he mentioned over 100 years ago, speaking on removing the soul from the human body through vaccinations. You can see that this has been a long play that's been put into play, and it's been conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory warning and trying to tell people. Plus, Bible text has been telling you that as well. Let's hear it come out of the horse's mouth at the World Economic Forum and hear these people speak on being able to check your vaccination record. Let's go ahead and see this. This is a short clip.
Because in order to open an account, you need to have an ID.
Right.
And I have to say that when I started this job, there were actually very little countries in Africa or Latin America that had one ubiquitous type of ID. And certainly that it was digital. And certainly that was biometric. And we've really worked with all our partners to actually help that being, to grow this. And the interesting part of it is that, yes, it is very necessary for financial services. But not only, it's also good for school enrollment. It's also good for health, who actually got a vaccination or not. It's very good to get your subsidies, from the government. So this has not only effect to the financial services. It's a very.
Did you hear what she said? It's also good to know if you got subsidies from the government or not. If you got even as well as the government officials, we will have these as well. So nobody is safe. Ain't nobody safe. And if you want to look at it from a big perspective, it tells you right here. This is how you know nobody's safe, because it don't matter who the hell you is. And she even said it herself. It'll let you know if you got government subsidies as well. Okay, cool. Right here. The second beast gave power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. It forced all people, great, small, rich, poor, free, and slave, to receive a mark. Okay? So it don't matter who you are. Everybody finna get this thing. It don't matter who. You know what I mean? And it is what it is at the end of the day. You know? Like, it's what it's gonna be. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, but I just want you to be aware. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. Be aware and always understand this right here. If you ever get scared, just keep this in mind. Whoever has ears, let them hear. And if anyone is to go into captivity, you will go into captivity. If anyone is to be unalive with the sword, they will be unalive. This calls for patience, endurance, and faithfulness on part of God's people. Either you gonna roll or you gonna sacrifice. Which one you gonna do? Now, with that being said, off of what she just said, coming out of the World Economic Forum, now take it onto a grander scale. We have right here
your body.
Larry Ellison. He's gonna speak on the surveillance aspect of it. Listen to what he says when it comes to a centralization of surveillance of everything. And it's going to be two different interviews. One is going to be at the World Economic Forum, where he's going to be talking to all of the leaders of countries. Either the World Economic Forum or the IMF meeting is one or the other. But he's going to be speaking to all of the leaders of the country. Now, pay attention to what he says. And listen to how he explains the data that is needed and how it's going to be organized. And then once it's organized a certain way, listen to how it's going to be used. Listen, it sounds very similar to what I'm going to point to next. And remember, the last lady said is going to let you know if you're vaccinated or not. All these things play a tie into one thing, but you can see the big picture. You can connect the dots. And that's all I want to do is connect the dots for you. I'm always trying to tell you to keep your head down and get rich as fuck. Because that's getting rich is not going to get you out of anything. But at least it'll make it a little bit better. That's all I'm saying. At least it'll make it a little bit better. I'd rather be rich in a bad situation than be broke in a bad situation. That's all I'm saying. But here we go. Let's let the man cook real quick. He's going to talk for a minute, but he's not going to go the whole way. We're going to stop him halfway.
Hams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
When you come to government and what government's doing, there are artificial intelligence tools, and some of them I know that Oracle have developed around financial management for government, but also tell us a bit about because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform.
There it is. Public data is fragmented. We need to utilize all of that public data, all of it, into one singular unified data center. Okay? What does that sound like? What does that sound like? I shall show you. Here it is, right here. And when you do that, it's gonna be able to be utilized by who? AI. AI will be able to utilize the data. It's right there. AI can utilize the data once it's put into one database. Break it down for you. Because of the signs was given the power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast. So the first beast image is coming back. What now can put an image of anything? AI. AI can make an image of anything. And then once the second beast gives power to give breath to the image of the first beast so that the image can speak, right? AI can make an image of anything and it can speak. Now, once it can speak, it can also cause all who refuse to worship the image to be unalived. It also will force all people, great, small, rich, poor, free, and slave, to receive a mark. So that's what he's speaking on. That's what he's speaking on. And it tells you right here, the second beast is going to give power back to the first beast, and we're going to see the first beast image, and it's going to be all collected into a single database. All of the public information, all of the population data is going to be collected and they're going to be put into one database so the AI can then in turn utilize it and be put into the AI database for reasoning. Then you can put an image to whatever you want inside that AI. The AI will then have an image, and then that AI image will be given breath to speak. It says it right there in the book of Revelations. You can't miss it. That's what he's talking about. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. To give you a little idea what it looks like, this is a tiny, tiny bit of an idea of what it would look like for a digital currency. This says a little clip right here. It says digital currency 2030. What will digital currency look like in 2030? Now, again, this timeline might not be accurate, but here's a little idea of what a digital currency would look like if government has control, which it will.
Bruce Kowalski, your monthly universal basic income has been deposited into your account. For more information, press details. You have been paid 2,000 central bank digital tokens. The following fees are being deducted: accommodation fee, food ration fee, recycling fee, clean energy fee, personal greenhouse gas emissions fee, climate change fee, diversity fee. Your current remaining balance is 5 central bank digital tokens, and if not spent, it will expire in 7 days.
Hit you with all them fees. You started with 2,000 and ended 5 funky ass tokens out of 2,000, bruh. So just to give you an idea, they're speaking about it. They're telling you about it. They're not hiding it. All right, they're telling you. They're gonna get all the public information. They're telling you that that's what they're doing, and it needs to be put into one database. And then, you know, the AI is going to be the reasoning of the database. That's why they're moving forward towards the AI. It's not hidden. You just got to be able to connect the dots and see it. That's it. And that's all I'm here to tell you to do. Put your head down and grind your ass off. And, you know, figure out where you want to invest your money. Put your money somewhere where you can invest it the best you can to not be poor inside of a system that is going to utilize it the way we just seen. You know what I mean? You got to be able to have some kind of purpose in your life and be driven and be useful in some shape, form, or fashion. You got to have a purpose. If not, you're going to be slaving a victim forever. And at the end of the day, you know, you're going to be screwed. And that's going to be for you and your generations to come. So keep your head down and grind. Take care of your body. Try to eat as healthy as you can. Have a purpose and a plan for yourself. and just keep pushing and keep grinding, because it's there. It's seen in front of you. It's not hidden. I just showed it to you. I just broke it down like a damn fraction. It's not hidden. It's not hard to see. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care if you hate God. I don't care, because neither do these plans. These plans don't give a damn if you hate anything. It doesn't matter. I don't believe it. That's fine. It believes in you. And it's coming for you too. You want to know how I know? Because nobody is safe. This lady even said it right here when she gave the speech to everybody at the table. She made it very clear. If you have vaccinations or if you have been subsidized by the government, that means that everybody's getting on this. It don't matter who you is. And what's weird is what they're saying falls in line with this. It falls in line with this. Everybody. Great, small, rich, poor, free and slave, everybody. You all getting this work. Everybody getting hands put on them. So that's just what it is. And I'm just here to tell you, take care of your mind, body, soul. Exercise, pray, meditate, fast. And then on top of that, find a purpose, find a reason why you're here to do what you need to do. And try to find and operate via investment so you don't have to be too tied up in the system. Find what your purpose is, find your philosophy that you can have, read, educate yourself, not just educationally, but with your own philosophy to understand how you can operate in a system that is coming for your ass. And not just you, but your children, your grandchildren, and your bloodline for the rest of eternity. And you need to find out what side you playing on. Pick a side. Because in the middle is not a side. You're going to be up or down. Pick one. As above, so below. Figure it out. With that being said, I got to get up out of here. Hopefully you learned something in today's show. Hopefully I was able to tie some things together, connect the dots, because I did do that for you. I got to get up out of here. I got stuff I got to take care of, man. But we will catch y'all tomorrow on the next show, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another DLA Fitness live stream show. Love you. Take care of yourself. I'm out of here. Peace.
Thank you for watching D. Elliott Fitness live stream. Goodbye.
I'd rather be in the studio than in jail or on the street. Talking the wrong, coming off your teeth. Got that one hit to quit and knock you off your feet. It's big on, baby, I'm obsolete. Pockets chunky like cottage cheese. Real nigga, I just gotta be. Smoking weed that don't gotta see. Used to be a hustler prodigy. I love when people say they proud of me. I'm eating good, smoking broccoli. Taking over blocks like Monopoly. Only fuck the ones that's my policy. Most of these hoes trying to cause a scene. Like niggas mad they not on the team. See, I got bread, then buy the dream. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. Counting cash and smoking green, can be blow a cloud like a smoke machine. Your bitch on my dick, she got no to sing. Bumblebee ass, yeah, I know it's thing. I'll plug your bitch like a 6-string. Jordan with the bitches got 6 rings. Smoke till my bitch a split screen. The first pain pills and sipping lean. Riding dirty, but I'm extra clean. Lyrics nice, but I'm extra mean. All-star, heavyweight like Wolverine. The bitch learns like she Wolverine. I flip money like Clover G. Gang hustle like CIP. It's all baby like D.I.G. Acronym like KRT. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. In the beats like RP, no hard shit with your artery. Cutting up, who sharp as me? Rolling up accordingly. Pulling hoes, no sorcery. Rapping like y'all forcing me. If I ain't right, then it's forgery. Nigga selling to the rock like a Flores beat. Lyrical monster on the Lord of beat. always winning like what's the fee? The game all locked and I got the keys like